So the stock we're going to be doing today is Biogen, and it's been asked by a lot of patrons to go over this because we are looking at this as a value play. We've been looking at it for a value play for some time. We're also looking at it for, I've been selling puts on it from $240 all the way down to, I think, $150. And I've been in those for quite some time. So, just looking at the 8 pillars alone, you can see that we have 7 of the 8 pillars checked off. So this is a very good company, but a lot of what this company is going to do in the future comes down to their PDUFA date, which is when the FDA says yes or no to their drug, put in very layman's terms. They have been previously, sometime last year, they took a big hit because the FDA said that they wanted their Alzheimer's drug aducanumab to be gone back to by the company to be looked at for safety reasons. Then their next date was supposed to be March 7th, which was their new PDUFA date. And right before that, the FDA came in, this was probably in February, the FDA came in and said that, this was actually in January. The FDA came in and said that they're going to move the PDUFA date to June 7th to give them a little bit more time. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but we're going to find out. The reason that it's in the news today, Eli Lilly actually, why Eli Lilly's successful Alzheimer's disease study was so disappointing. So Eli Lilly is targeting is using an Alzheimer's drug to target the disease and the amyloid plaques. And the reason, and now it's affecting Biogen. So at some point, Biogen was down, I believe. Why don't we just go and take a look? So they were down 3% today. So probably around maybe almost 6% earlier today. And the reason was Eli Lilly's drug did do well. It was okay. It showed that it was effective on patients compared to the placebo, and it was able to slow the disease. Now, the problem is that it's dating back to, so they're going back to their drug from a couple of years ago, solanezumab. That one, it's not showing that this new drug of theirs, donanemab, is not showing anything better than the drug that failed a couple of years ago. So that's what people are worrying about. The FDA hasn't said no to their drug yet, but now people are starting to say that, okay, if aducanumab from Biogen is not any better than donanemab from Eli Lilly, the FDA is going to is going to fail them. So this is where the panic came from today. Something happened with Eli Lilly and it came over to Biogen. To me, I look at it saying, if aducanumab from Biogen is any better than this drug that is being worried about right now, maybe the FDA will approve them. And I know that the reason that the FDA, from what I've read from both sides, physicians and PhDs that are doing reviews of the drug, is that they were worried about the safety. So I guess you have to balance it and say, these patients are terminally ill. Is whatever is being looked at as not safe, is that worse than the disease? And I don't know. That's the answer that needs to be, that's the question that needs to be answered. So let's go look at Biogen from a technical standpoint, see what it's doing, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to zoom out. As you can see, Biogen has these huge gaps that happen. This company really does move on news, and it moves fast and big. So this was when aducanumab had its first mishap, and that was in 2019. Come to October of 19, good news came out for aducanumab. So you can see that this Alzheimer's drug, this is not the only thing that Biogen does. Biogen is a huge company, but because there is no treatment for Alzheimer's, there's no effective treatment for Alzheimer's, everybody's looking for a drug that's going to do it. And for some reason, Biogen's being kind of punished if they don't do this drug. Eli Lilly is in the same boat. But here's another gap up, and then we had a big day recently. So maybe in 2020. But so just looking at this stock, it's a mess. It's not a 50%er, so that's good. But why don't we zoom in and see what we can do with this thing on a more normal short-term basis. So right now we're for sure in a downtrend. Red line under yellow, moving through the sweet spot. And as we can see, just taking a peek over here, we can see that we are at a lot of resistance, and we're just kind of consolidating in this area because we are at all 4 major moving averages. There's nowhere to go up or down right now. Some kind of news is going to have to come out. And I have to think that although Biogen's having a little bit of a day, I do not think that we're going to see anything big out of Biogen until June. I could be completely wrong. I haven't looked at what their other drugs are doing in the pipeline as far as dates and news go. I know the other drugs that are coming out of the pipeline because I am a potential investor in there with puts. So I do know that, but I just don't know the dates and stuff that are going to create these big moves, except for the June 7th date for the Alzheimer's drug. So we're coming through a sweet spot in the downward direction. Let me zoom out. I just want to see the 6 months just to see where our support is. So if you were to throw a short position on here, let's say that tomorrow we get an engulfing candlestick like this. I don't know if that would happen, but let's say that we do, for example. That's when you can go ahead and put a short position on here with more than one share. You will, however, run into a support line right here around this 240, maybe a little bit above 240. That's where your next support line is going to be. I just can't, I don't know. I'm totally guessing right now, but I think that the stock is just going to consolidate in this area and sit at this 100-day moving average where it's at right now and just bounce between the 100 and the 200 for a little while. But that's just a total guess. Well, let's go over and check out a swing trade. Zoom in a little bit so we can see more of these moving averages. And this is the kind of stuff that you guys know I don't like to do, is swing trade when we're just bouncing around in one area, because there's not enough room for the stock to go in one direction or the other to get any kind of substantial gains. So we're just coasting on the bottom. But before you would do anything, I would like to see this thing pop up. And ideally, I would like to see the stock price over the 50, 100, and 25-day moving average. That's what I really want to see. And I want to see that for a few days in a row. Just like back here, but you can see that it went against us. So this is actually kind of this here is kind of the reason that I don't like trading this stock, because you have to fight. You were fighting with this white line, which is the 200-day moving average. So every time you break through it, it pulls down below it. Get through it, pulls down below it. And now we're just between the 100 and 200. So this is a very tough swing trade. At the same point, there's a difference in the bid and ask between 14 cents. That's way too high. That needs to be, but that's not surprising on a day like today where there's news coming out and this and that. It's not surprising that you see a high bid and ask. What can we do on a 15? So Biogen's actually, it's like Boeing. I did a Boeing video last week. Biogen is the company that is a higher stock price, $258, and you can day trade it, and it does move pretty significantly for you. Even on days like when there is no news, like this was last Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. This was Tuesday. And you can see on Wednesday, I mean, you do have these big moves on Biogen, which is a big company, but it does move. So this morning, we actually had the fall. This is definitely where the news was announced. That was at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. You got this big fall. And then people kind of said, okay, overreaction. Let's start buying our shares back. And you can see that we have had a very nice run from $252 to $258 in the past 2 hours. The downside is you could not have caught this if you were using my methods, which are going to make you the most money, because you need this stochastic here. Of course, any of this, it needs to be over 80% to go long on it. And you just didn't have the buying volume. You see how it's just decelerating on you? You didn't have the buying volume to push you up here to continue that run. Also, there's probably a lot of selling going on there too. It was just more buyers than sellers in that period. Yeah, so actually at any point today, the only point you could have done something today really was got in as a short position, maybe in this candlestick right here. But there was no way of knowing that this news was coming out from, you weren't even looking at Biogen, you were looking at Eli Lilly, so you would have had to correlate the two. But if this is one of your 5 stocks or something, you would have grabbed it and shorted it down here. But that's I mean, I don't really know what else to say. The point of all of this is you could not have caught this run because you were not over 80%. And I think that's a really good thing to show, that you can have buying volume and you can have engulfing candlesticks without your stochastic being over 80%. So let's just do a quick review of this. Just remember the dates. Remember if you're trading the stock, remember June 7th. Write that down. So you're coming through the sweet spot in the negative direction right here. If you want to short it, wait for an engulfing candlestick like that. Just be very careful. Remember, you're going to face support around this 240 area. On a daily chart, just know that you got a lot of stuff going on, all these moving averages and whatnot. So if it's me, I'm not doing this one. I would find something else. Also, your bid and ask is 14 cents. It's too big. 15-minute chart, just remember, you have to be, if you're going long, you have to be over 80%, between 80 and 100. And if you're going short, you have to be under 20 and between 20 and 0. So if you guys like this video, jump into the Bid and Ask Nation. It's in our Patreon. It's a middle tier. I'm in the Discord all day answering your guys' questions, trading with you, making short videos with you. And in addition to that, you get all the software from Everything Money for free. So you're going to get our 8-pillar website, which comes out on April 15th. You are going to get the real estate calculator that's coming out. Eventually, I'm going to come out with charts. Those will be a little bit of an upcharge, but you're going to get them. This is going to be everything. I mean, we're going to be everything money. So if you like this, sign up for the Discord, sign up for the Patreon, and I will see you guys there. Have a great day. Peace.